The platform was started actually in 2000 with an activity of the Swiss government together with the 5 universities there, but meanwhile there are many more involved. So, and the platform intended to give for undergraduate, I have to really to strengthen this, not for postgraduate, for undergraduate students, the basic knowledge in dermatology, which they also need to have later on when they are not going into dermatology practice, but acting as general practitioners and seeing there quite a lot of patients with dermatology problems. So this is the intention of the platform, and that's why it was started. And meanwhile, it's in his 5th or what version now. It's spread all over because it's free accessible on the internet. One has to register, but it's free of charge, and it's spread all over the world. Now, I think there are more than 33,000 people registered, not just clicking people, but registered people using it from over 600 universities in more than 80 countries. So it has quite spread. It's in 7 languages, including Chinese, Lithuanian version is coming. I don't know if this is really good for 3 million people, but we are looking forward for Ukrainian or Russia or whatever. So it's a worldwide spread platform, and people is accepting this more and more for learning undergraduate in their undergraduate time as a student. It's structured in a physiological way. First, there is learning, which is a especially designed type of book, of textbook, but it's especially designed for the internet. Next is exercising. There are a lot of multiple questions, multiple choice questions, which never appear again, so it's randomized. Then comes testing. The student wants to know, did he learn the right thing or the wrong thing, or where does he has still gaps to fill? And for this, there are 3 very entertaining and interesting games to be used. It's very entertaining, and students wrote me that if they start to fall asleep in the evening from learning, they go to the games and they are awake again. And finally, there is feedback, which is also very important. And we also want to implement this in a new Erasmus program, which is the guiding institute is Magdeburg with Professor Gornick. And there we try in a pilot phase to involve 8 European universities with DOIT, the program, in the center to harmonize education for dermatology for undergraduates in Europe. I don't have to tell you the big step electronics and all these devices have done during the past, storing and handling and whatever. So this certainly also has changed these possibilities. And I mean, the technology is there, and students, and now I'm talking about students, are prepared to accept this. What is very difficult to achieve is to change a little bit the culture in the universities. Sebastian Throne has said once that universities are still using the technology or using the methods from 1,000 years ago. And it's somehow true. So the culture at universities has to change, because there will not more space, not more money, but there will be many more students, and there also will be much more content. It's known that these contents in medicine, probably also in other disciplines, is renewing or is doubling every 10 years. So one has to change the methods of education which were used 1,000 years ago with 8 students in the lecture hall. Today there are several hundreds. So we have to get away from the one-way front lecture to an interactive type of lecture where the professor or the lecturer is in close contact through, there are nice programs. Pingo, for example, is one. And here also the audience response programs where the students have direct contact with the lecturer, asking questions, giving feedback. This is the future of education, not only in dermatology, in each discipline. But we can do it, especially in dermatology, because dermatology is very well suited for this. We have pictures. It's a limited type of content which has to be conveyed to the students. So there are many advantages which dermatology has, and we have to use it. We have to change culture at our universities. Telemedicine in general, it's certainly something which will come. At the moment, there are still a lot of difficulties promoting this. One point is reimbursement. As soon as something is reimbursed, numbers go up. In total, it's a very good tool to have, not for each situation, but it will improve healthcare, especially in underdeveloped countries. I have experience in Nepal, connecting rural areas with the centers. Their live interactive telemedicine is done regularly, and it's very, very helpful for these patients who live some 100 kilometers out of the town, of the Kathmandu especially, certainly the big city, and cannot move because they are too sick or the distances are too far. So it's a very good thing. Now, in developed countries, there is not that need for this, but still the healthcare can be improved by using telemedicine, especially for monitoring people who have eczema, widespread eczema. They ask their doctor, should I change the treatment or can I stop my treatment? For wound healing, for example, also. So there are some application areas where telemedicine, also in the developed countries, may be very helpful and improve healthcare.